Right. So Chaitanya, being a product owner at a company and working a 9 to 5, and along with pursuing your PhD, and also maintaining a work life, right? Not work life and a personal life, right? It must be pretty tough. So how do you do it? What motivates you
Uh,
to keep going and then do it so effortlessly?
that's that's again a tough question. Uh, okay, so my approach towards my education, my personal life, and my professional life are three different things. I keep them totally separate.
Right.
There is no interlink or impact of any of those things because at times there are issues at at a personal level which we cannot bring to office, right? We
Right.
have to work there. We are being paid for doing the work that
So, hi guys. So, welcome to today's episode. Today we have Chaitanya with us, who has been in the corporate world for more than 5 years now. He's currently working at Harman as a product owner. So, let's just get started, right? Hi Chaitanya, how are you doing today?
Hey, hi, Bhavna. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. So yeah, let's just get started. So, can you like start with introducing yourself to our viewers today?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm Chaitanya Sahadev. I basically belong from Rajasthan. I am currently employed with, as you mentioned, Harman Connected Services or Harman International.
Right.
I have around 6 years of IT experience. Talking about my education background, so I have did my BTech in electrical engineering. I know that sounds a bit off track from what I do now. But long story. So I have done my BTech, and then along with my job, I have completed my MA in psychology from IGNU, then like the executive MBA in product management from the Anand Saga University, and currently I'm pursuing my PhD as well in product management.
Right.
Talking about my family background, so I have one younger sibling. She is 6 years younger to me, and she is also a management student. She
Okay.
has recently completed her BBA.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was in Air Force, so Indian Air Force. He served in Indian Air Force for around 20 years now. He's retired. And my mom is a beautician. She owns her own beauty parlor as well. So this is a bit of my family background. Uh, Talking about my journey when I started my IT career. So I started my IT career somewhere around in July 2019, just after completion of my BTech degree.
Right.
That's where I started with my journey. So that's in brief about me.
Okay, great. That's quite an introduction. Uh, so I see that you've been in the IT sector for almost 5 plus years now, right? And you also mentioned that you've worked with different companies as well. So how has your journey been from your first company to your current one?
So there has been a drastic change.
Okay.
Like what I was when I was a fresher, what was my approach towards life, towards work, towards my daily routine has drastically changed now. So I started, as I mentioned, I got on-campus placement. So I had TCS and Capgemini as my offers. I joined Capgemini as a fresher. I worked in Capgemini as a SAP HANA developer. So I
Mm-hmm.
was a SAP full stack developer there.
Mm-hmm.
For 1.5 years, I worked there, and then after that, after almost completing 2 years with Capgemini, I switched my career to IQVIA India RDS Private Limited, which is again a healthcare industry.
Right.
So in Capgemini, my client was a German-based healthcare industry. So I have been more into healthcare. That's my expertise, I would say.
Okay.
And then I thought, let's explore. Then I went into a management role. So I started my career with IQVIA as a business analyst. That's the
Mhm.
first stage for anyone who wants to get into product management.
Right.
And then I worked in IQVIA for almost 2 years. And then I again switched my career to Cisco because I was curious to know how does the other domain apart from healthcare actually works in the product management side, just
Mm-hmm.
to have an idea, just to learn
Okay.
something. So I switched my career to Cisco. I worked there, and it's into telecommunications. So that the telecommunications were the products there. And now eventually I'm back to Harman. So Harman, I know Harman has different branches. So Harman, one of the branches is into healthcare. So I'm back into healthcare now.
Mm-hmm.
And the good part is that my client or any of the client that I was working previously with is the same one who has actually employed me in the past.
Right.
So the journey was really good. I started with a developer role, but now I am into purely into management, and I know there will be a lot of questions on how did you change, and what was the challenges that you face, because anyone who wants to switch their career after a given point, right? They face a lot of challenges, and there are a lot of questions that comes to their mind.
Right.
But yeah, that's a brief on my career journey that I have been through till now. And currently, I am working as a lead product owner. I have somewhere around 3 to 4 products that I own. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's great. So, I mean, our viewers, right? There are a lot of people who are yet to start their journey in IT, or who are like maybe currently in their first year of doing a job. So, over a period of time, like how do they get to switch to a completely managerial role? Like how do you become a product owner over the period of time? Like how do you have to work in order to like get there, right? So what do you have to say about that?
Sure. So I'll tell you my journey so that most of the people can relate and they might be in the same situation, right?
Hmm.
So I was given training because whenever there is a fresher who joins a company, there is a 6 months or 3 months of training that has been provided to onboard them to IT culture. Because
Right.
when I joined, I used to say my seniors or subordinates as sir and ma'am. And
Mm-hmm.
then we got to know, no, sir and ma'am is not something which we use. We call them by names, right?
Correct.
So that was the first lesson that I had. So for me, what I did was I was actually working as a full stack developer. So I had an experience of UI UX, right?
Mhm.
And that's where we used to sort of prepare some sort of MVPs for certain products or just to, pitch it to client. Some sort of pitch deck pitches that we used to prepare. So
Mhm.
that's where I was like, maybe I want to do something which is not coding because I am not. I'll be very honest. I'm very bad at maths. If someone sees my 12 scores card, they would be very surprised at how did I even get into electrical engineering and did all the mathematical calculations.
Right.
So I was never interested into maths, and that's where it was somewhere interlinked to coding also. So I was like, I don't want to get into coding. There's a lot of pressure, and you have to deliver, and you don't use your brains to talk to people, but you use your brains to code, right?
Right. Right.
So that's what I thought. Let's switch our careers. So when I went to IQVIA as a fresher, I know that it would be very much difficult because I was from a development background.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was I went through certain videos. There are a lot of videos that we have on YouTube.
Right.
There are a lot of content that there are certain agencies that provide it
Right.
for business analysts. So I
Okay.
just went through over what exactly is a business analyst role, what are the different hierarchy that we follow because
Mm-hmm.
uh, every organization have a different way of defining a business analyst role. Some can be a project manager, but they are defining it as a business analyst.
Right.
But I wanted to know that what exactly does a business analyst do? I was actually curious to see where I can put my conversational skills, my negotiation skills into place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to learn that where is that spot or a place where I can actually go and talk to people rather than just coding,
Right.
because that was something which I was always interested in.
Right.
I'm very interactive, so that was more like something which I was looking at,
Right.
and that's where IQVIA provided me an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
even though they didn't consider they did say that you are from development background, but I trained myself in a way, I prepared myself in a way for the interview that they were not able to categorize that this is a non developer and this is a developer guy.
Right.
So that's where I did a bit of my research and I got into a business analyst role. And then I had a lot abundance of things to, look into
Mm-hmm.
that, there were different tools that we use like HPLM, Top Teams, Jira. Jira is one of the very
Mm-hmm.
famous tool that has been used across all agile ceremonies, like
Right.
methodologies,
Right.
right? So, so overall, it was more of that, okay, I got an opportunity. Now I was more focused on how should I, set my stage in a way that I don't have to worry about my future. Because when you
Right.
get into a new domain, you have a lot of challenges. You have people who are already expert at that particular domain, but you are the first person who is getting and you have changed your, domain.
Right.
So I would say do your certifications. The
Mm-hmm.
reason is because for some people, it might be they might say that we do certification to get a new job or we get certified to just get some good hike or some promotion, but I would say if you are looking for a career switch, it is good to start with a basic certification.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a fresher, I would highly recommend you to go and learn about Agile because that is something which is widely used across both service-based as well as product-based industries.
Right.
And any which ways, if you're a product owner or a business analyst or a product manager, you will have to work in Agile right?
Right.
So that's where the very first lesson that I learned the hard way was that you should know everything about Agile, at least on a higher level, so
Mm-hmm.
that if the interviewer comes and asks you this question, you are in a situation to answer that and you don't get rid of it,
Right.
right? So that was, I would say that this is my suggestion to everyone who is starting their career at the very first stage. That when you're onboarded, it's okay that you are into a technical background totally,
Mm-hmm.
but I would always recommend you that you should start something learning which is non-technical, like Agile, because that's something which is it's more like a methodology that is being used across development teams.
Right.
And you shouldn't really worry about whether you're in service-based or product-based companies, because both use Agile. So there is no way that you're going to get rid of Agile anywhere in your any of the companies whenever you switch. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always good to have knowledge on Agile, right? That's my feedback that I was saying. And don't get disheartened by yourself that I was not able to give one interview. See, I will be very honest. I have applied for 20 positions, and I got two calls, and I made to the very first round in the first call itself.
Right.
And this is my journey when I was actually switching my job, right?
Okay.
So if I would have if I would have been like I would have been in a position, I would have given up that it's not really working. Like 20 jobs I have applied, but still I'm getting two calls, and I'm not gonna join it. I wouldn't recommend that, because and today at situation where I am currently, where I own a product line,
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more happy that I took the right decision during the early stages of my career. I would again recommend, if you are looking for a career switch,
Mm-hmm.
switch in terms of changing your technical expertise or your domain, I would highly recommend you do it within the first 5 to 7 years of your IT career, not after that, because you have to stabilize after a point to be a SME, right?
Right. Right.
So that's my recommendation to your viewers on this.
Okay, understood. So you mentioned certifications, right? And how important they are and how big of a role they play while you're switching job roles. So how do you look for the right certification, right? So for example, at least the freshers point of view is you go on Coursera, you do a certification, right? And just for the sake of getting a certification, you get a certification, and that doesn't really hold a value. Like people putting out their Coursera certificate, it doesn't really hold a
Yeah.
lot of value, right? So how do you look
Yeah.
for certifications which actually add some kind of huge value to your resume?
Okay, so that's a good question. So one thing that you need to consider while you are looking at certifications is authentication of that particular certified
Right.
organization. So see, say Coursera is one of the organization,
Mm-hmm.
then Credily is one organization, then Scrum Alliance is one organization, then there is IIBA, one of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would recommend is that you actually look at the organization. So and to be very specific on product management and business analyst role, I'll just tell you the hierarchy that I have in my mind, which I follow. So business analyst is the very first base of any person who is getting into product management.
Right.
You build upon business analyst. So for a BA, I would recommend you get a Agile BA certification or a ECBA, which is
Mm-hmm.
Early Certified Business Analyst, for which you need 0 to 1 years of experience in
Right.
IT. And
Mm-hmm.
you can do that certification. That is provided by IIBA, and it's one of the renowned organization that provides you certifications. They have three levels.
Mm-hmm.
It starts from ECBA, then CCBA, and CBAP. CBAP is like the top-notch certification that they've offered.
Right.
But I would recommend, if you are starting as a BA, you want to get into a IT, or into a different role as a BA, I would recommend you to go with ECBA certification from
Mm-hmm.
IIBA.
Right.
After BA, you get onto a product manager, a product owner role. So basically, business analyst is an individual worker, and I would say a product owner is a person who works on a particular product. He owns the product end to end,
Right.
starting from inception till the maintenance of the product. So the chances that you cannot there are very rare chances that you can get directly onto a product owner role, if you get nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would always recommend that you follow the hierarchy, so that you get the experience at each level,
Right.
and then you accordingly work towards it. So after be a business analyst, you can go for PO. So PO is
Mm-hmm.
product owner. There are two major organizations that actually provide certification: Scrum Alliance and Scrum.org.
Mm-hmm.
These two are one of the best organizations. They have a huge amount of lists. Like they have around 4 to 5 certifications that they provide. My
Right.
personal preference was Scrum Alliance. I did
Mm-hmm.
so. Just to give a background about my certification journey, so I didn't do any certification as a BA.
Okay.
right? I directly did my certification as a PO.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my certification from Scrum Alliance. Scrum Alliance, I have all the three certifications. The early stage is CSPO, which is Certified Scrum Product Owner.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did my ACSPO, which is Advanced Certified Scrum Product Owner.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one was CSPPO, which is the end, I would say the end goal of a product owner
Right.
certification. That's where you stop when you get into certification path.
Mm-hmm.
So I have completed those three from Scrum Alliance because I that was my personal choice that I would, go for because the content and everything is much more aligned and structured is what I feel. But
Right.
it again depends on people's, priority and, their choice of the domain and the culture that they want to get into.
Right.
And for product managers, I wouldn't say there is any specific certification. There might be like for leadership and agile project management and PMP, which we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
But for product managers, I would say they can go for SAFe. The SAFe is something which is really new. After agile, I would say SAFe is something which any product owner or any BA should know. When I say safe, it's the safe agile that we've currently scaled agile that we work towards.
Okay.
So I have completed that certification as well. So that is
Okay.
for scaled agile POPM, which is for
Mm-hmm.
product owner and product managers.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the last certification that I would recommend personally if you really want to get into a product management role. But
Right.
for freshers, I think a good start would be do a ECBA or maybe a CSPA certification, and that should
Got it.
suffice.
Got
After
it.
that, it depends on your interest that you really want to get into it or not. Because for me, I did my MBA in product management. I'm doing my PhD as well now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would actually add in addition that I'll get some more exposure to the things that I might have not got till
Right.
now, right? So that's the
Right.
reason I did the advanced and top-notch certifications.
Mm-hmm.
But for freshers, I would recommend you go for ECBA or CSPA to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel that you would want to improvise and if you want to get more into the product management role or product owner role, go for the certification like CSPO or
Right.
ACSPO or CSPPO. So yeah, that's such a brief of certifications.
Got it. Got it. That's quite a lot of certifications you have done there, right? So you also mentioned that, you are currently pursuing your PhD, right? So, again, like what motivates you to like do your PhD and continue to study? I mean, obviously you've done your bachelor's and you've done your MA in psychology, then you've done your master's and now PhD, right? So, like, what keeps you going? What motivates you to
So
study?
yeah, so that's a tough question, but what I have seen is that for me, learning is important,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's from educational standpoint or from the process or from my career IT career standpoint.
Right.
For me, my graph of learning should be exponentially increasing. It should not
Mm-hmm.
be a straight line, is what I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should not have much of a hiccups during my career journey and the learning journey.
Mm-hmm.
So what motivates me is my mother. So
Okay.
and I like she is my motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Today, if I am a product owner and whatever I have owned till now as a product owner or as an individual per se, I did even my both the masters during along with my job. The only motivation was my mother
Okay.
because she was the one she used to push me every time that don't stop studying
Mm-hmm.
because you basically learn and evolve, right? So don't stop studying. And PhD, yes, that was something like the end goal of my career, like the educational journey. So I was like,
Right.
okay, let's complete that also. Why should we leave that? So
Right.
that's where I thought, let's do PhD as well. So that's so my motivation is my mother because because just because of and today if I very proudly say that if I'm standing in this position here today, it's just because of my mother. She was my whole support system and she's still my support system. Even if I'm down at a given instance, she's the one she'll pull me out and you have to do this, you have a lot on your plate, look at your career, you have a lot of things to learn now. So she has been my motivation throughout my journey till now. So yeah, and she will always be.
Right. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I think it's always very important to like have someone, just keep like just who pushes you to your ultimate bounds, right? So okay, so now that you say that PhD is your last thing in the education that you want to pursue, like what else do you plan on, like what are your future plans with respect to like growing and learning? So that's great. So Yeah, like you said, it's very important to like have someone in your life who like, pushes you to your ultimate bounds. And it's great to hear that, that person is your mother in your life, right? So, yeah. So, when it comes to product management, which company is better? Like, is product-based company better or service-based company better? Like, when you actually like look at from a fresher's point of view again, like throughout their college life, it's mostly like it's heard like product-based company should be your ultimate goal, right? So that's what we hear.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to say about that?
So according to me, see, service-based and product-based companies doesn't make much difference. I wouldn't say specific to product management, but in general,
Mm-hmm.
because if you know, I started my career as into a service-based, which was Capgemini, and I'm purely into a product-based now, which is Harman, right?
Right.
So it doesn't really matter which company do you join at the early stage of your career. What
Mm-hmm.
matters is what are the right decisions that you take during your journey to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that you're getting to the right role,
Right.
right? And there are two important things that I considered when I was choosing, because I told you I had offer from TCS and Capgemini.
Right.
There were two things that were deciding factors.
Mm-hmm.
First thing was what domain I'm getting into,
Mm-hmm.
because there are specific domains that I feel are, booming currently.
Mm-hmm.
First one is tech AI, because
Right.
everyone is talking about AI, so that's one domain that is like booming like anything right now.
Right.
Second is fintech. It is dynamic and fast paced as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then healthcare is never ending. It's like a evergreen forest that you have. So it will
Right.
never get old. Healthcare is always going to be there, right? So I feel that you should look towards what you're getting into only and only after you complete 1 or 2 years in a particular company,
Right.
right? Because you are more like the very first person who are getting to a company as a fresher. It will take some time for you to understand the dynamics that are there in the IT sector, and
Mm-hmm.
also understand what is right for me, because
Right.
it took me almost two and a half years to actually know that what is the correct role for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, if you're getting offered from service based, well and good, go for it. If you're getting product based, there is no issues, right? Even what I have seen is that there are certain service based companies that who provide services to product based companies as a support system,
Right.
right? And Harman is one of them.
Right.
So you don't really have to worry that what you will get into is a product based or service based.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah, I would worry about it after maybe 3 years or 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
because there are people who are much happier in service based, but they are not really happy in product based, and vice versa,
Right.
right? So I would say if you want to really understand the in depth of the whole product development life cycle,
Mm-hmm.
like end to end, and interacting with the direct customers, I would recommend you go for product based.
Mm-hmm.
But service based, you will have the diverse project exposure, because
Right.
when you get into service based, you will have all types of domains, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll have healthcare, you'll have fintech, you will have banking, you will have insurance. But if you get into a specific product company, for example Cisco, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot get into healthcare in Cisco, right? You will have to
Right.
stick to telecommunications.
Right.
So that's where I would say, if you want to have diverse perspective, go for service based. But if you want to specifically get into as an SME into a specific domain, I would recommend you go for product based. But
Mm-hmm.
as freshers, don't look at the service based or private product based companies. Just get into it and just sail through 1 or 2 years. You will get much more clarity that what you had when you were joining the company.
Right.
So yeah.
Got it. Understood. Uh, right. That was quite insightful. So currently, like there are a lot of people out there who are like freshers who are trying to get a job and who are struggling to get a job, who are struggling with campus placement. So basically there are a lot of people who want a job but are not getting a job, right? And I think you would have seen a lot of juniors as well, like under you, people who have worked under you, and you might as well have like come across people who are trying to get a job, right? So what do you think are some of the mistakes that they are doing which they should avoid, and what do you think are some areas that they can actually like improve on in order to like get a job and do well in the career?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll again give my example, because I have been through that same journey. I didn't I luckily got campus placement, but I was not satisfied with the package, or I would rather say with the clarity of thoughts that I had at that time.
Right.
So what I did was, first thing first is very important that you maintain your LinkedIn profile.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen freshers approaching me on LinkedIn, directly pinging me on LinkedIn with some cold emails, but either the structure is not good, or even if they ping me, the way of approaching is not right, right? And when I go and check their profile, it's totally blank. So the very first rule that I did during my interviews or during my engineering was prepare a proper full-fledged LinkedIn profile. Even if you check now, it is full of information that is related to me. So
Right.
one thing is very important, that you definitely have a LinkedIn profile, because a lot of people do get job through LinkedIn, through
Mm-hmm.
direct cold emails, or directly approaching to the recruiter. I have seen that. I have done myself as well. I have applied for like 50 jobs and I got called for 12 or 13 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy about it.
You're right.
So first thing is that you should definitely, look at updating your LinkedIn profile. Second thing is work on your soft skills, because that is something which is the very first step,
Right.
that people look into.
Right.
Because what I see a lot of time during, I have taken a couple of fresher interviews in the past, and when I went and sort of had this discussion that how are you and all,
Mm-hmm.
they were confident. There was confidence, but they lacked communication skills, or
Mm-hmm.
they lacked their analytical skills. Maybe I just put up a very random question to them in front of them. They got nervous, and they were like, "No, sir, we will think. We need some time." And something on those lines. So ensure that your communication skills are right. I won't
Mm-hmm.
say you need to be like, a master of communications, because like you should be a master of English language and proficiency. I
Right.
would say at least you should be in a position to answer the questions that are asked by you by the interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and be confident. That's very important. I have seen myself shivering in front of interviewer when there were like three or four people sitting in front of me. So
Right.
never worry about that. They're not gonna eat you. They're gonna hire you. So you
Right.
better look peaceful when you go to them, and you just like hi, hello, greet them, and just go through the interview.
Mm-hmm.
So communication, or I would say rather soft skills, are really important when you're getting into IT.
Mm-hmm.
You should know what to say, when to say, and how to say. So that's where I would say your soft skills will really play a vital role.
Right.
Next thing that I see is on the like like sort of understanding of the problem. So there are certain times when we give them an analytical question to
Mm-hmm.
solve, and
Right.
some of the people just give up, like it's not really happening, and some people just give it a try. So we hire, when I, at least when I take interviews, I hire a person for the way they take the approach, not
Right.
because whether they are solving it right or wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, if a student or if a candidate is at least trying, at least he's not giving up so early easily, and he's at least trying, even if the answer is wrong, I would give him
Mm-hmm.
a chance over a person who is saying I don't know, right?
Right.
So there, and I have seen that a lot of universities do a lot of soft skill training and coaching, and they put things in place just to ensure that they get better placements. But I think sorry, not agile, but the LinkedIn part, the soft skills part, and your nervousness or the confidence part, these three things are important. One last thing, never ever reject an offer just because of the pay. Because I'm telling you, I have seen people who
Mm-hmm.
are getting 3 lakhs and their friend got 4.5 lakhs. They are like, he got 1.5 lakhs extra. I'm not gonna join this company. I'm rejecting the offer.
You're right.
And you won't believe they are still unemployed. The
Mm-hmm.
people who have rejected that offer. So I would recommend never reject an offer on the basis of price,
Mm-hmm.
because see, you learn and grow. I would
Mm-hmm.
say when I was hired as a, start as a fresher, my salary was just 3 lakhs.
Right.
Okay. But now I'm earning in a decent number that I am happy about, right? So what I would recommend is don't look at the salary part, because when I was in Capgemini, when I started my career, I was getting 20,000 per month in my hand, and that too in
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore. Now you can
Right.
understand
Yeah.
having 20,000 in Bangalore, how much of an expense that we have, because the
Right.
cost of living is high in Bangalore, right?
Right.
So that's where I said, if I would have given up saying that, no, I'm not gonna have that like 20,000 just because of this, it wouldn't have really helped. I wouldn't have been in a position where I'm today, right?
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
would say never reject an offer just because of salary. Never accept an offer just because of, let's say, if you have two offers and you're saying you are getting much more salary there and you're not getting much more salary here, you're accepting the offer because the salary is better than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the skill set that you're going to get. Look at
Mm-hmm.
the company background, because that is something which is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You would not want to get into a startup
Mm-hmm.
where you are working and you're not getting what you want,
Right.
but you're getting a company which is much more stable, which is more like an MNC,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these are the few things that should be there in your checklist while you are actually accepting your offer, or you going out for an interview.
Right.
And yeah, so that's pretty much on the skill set that I would ideally comment for any of the freshers who are joining in. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So Chaitanya, being a product owner at a company and working a 9 to 5, and along with pursuing your PhD, and also maintaining a work life, right? Not work life and a personal life, right? It must be pretty tough. So how do you do it? What motivates you
Uh,
to keep going and then do it so effortlessly?
no, that's that's again a tough question. Uh, okay, so my approach towards my education, my personal life, and my professional life are three different things. I keep them totally separate.
Right.
There is no interlink or impact of any of those things, because at times there are issues at at a personal level which we cannot bring to office, right? We
Right.
have to work there. We are being paid for doing the work that we do,
Right.
right? So what I would do, or what I usually do, is keep certain time. So
Mm-hmm.
I have called it out to my family that and they understand, because they know the pain. They have seen me working at
Right.
for 12 hours and 14 hours in a stretch. So I have told them I'll call you on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
That's something which I'll definitely do. But
Right.
in case if there is something which is very urgent that requires my attention, feel free to call me anytime. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if I'm free, I do call them.
Mm-hmm.
So my family is on that level that they are very sorted that we don't get, and they have seen me getting into calls all day long for like 14, 15 hours straight on the same day.
Right.
So that's where my family understands it. So family support is, yes, there. My mother actually supports it really well. That if there is something, she will never call me. She'll just drop a message that, when you are free, just give me a call. I need to discuss something on these lines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my family thing is sorted. If I talk about education, so I have classes on weekends. I have to go to university on weekends, alternative weekends, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So the alternative weekends, the weekends on which I don't go to university is my me time. So that's where
Okay.
I do a lot of things. I have my bike here. I sort of go on drives. I go on some nearby places just to explore. I'm a foodie.
You're
So
right.
I like to explore new places, like restaurants and all. So I go with my flatmates and all. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I usually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important that you don't take your personal issues, or I would say personal problems, or your inner space problems to your work. And you should never take your work related things to your educational part, because both those two are totally different. Never interlink anything, because if you interlink, you would be in trouble. So that's where you have to create a balance.
Right.
For me, like what my recommendation or what my advice to anyone who wants to work, who is getting into a place where he has to manage three different things. Only thing is, don't freak out. Okay,
Right.
things will happen. There'll be a lot of issues in your family.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a lot of issues at work as well. Your managers is not letting you take leaves. You're not getting
Right.
leaves. That's a different, like that. There is a corporate thing that is there. And in education also, while you're doing a master's degree or even a PhD, there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of challenges that comes in place, that you have to deliver certain assignments, you have to give written exams, you have to prepare for them.
Mm-hmm.
So my rule, or my agenda, or my guideline that I would like, that I follow, and I would recommend as an advice to whomever who is watching this video: don't take your things from one level to another level. Don't take your things from personal level to your professional level or to your education level. Similarly, vice versa for the three.
Right.
Never interlink anything. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep things separate. The
Mm-hmm.
more things are separate, the
Mm-hmm.
more aligned and clear your thought process will be. And
Right.
that's where your IT work, your education would be spot on. You will not see any issues. That's where I have did my I don't know, I shouldn't say this, but I have did my master's in psychology and in my MBA, both in honors,
Mm-hmm.
along with my job. I haven't left my job.
Right.
So that was my key mantra of keeping these three different, not
Mm-hmm.
involving anything, not putting things on cross connection. And that has actually evolved me as a person as well. I was very frightened. I never used to speak properly when I was in college. I was about to complete college.
Mm-hmm.
These 5.5 years has transformed me in a way that now I'm very much confident. I'm very much open to discussions. I'm very much aligned to my career
Right.
journey, that what I want to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's my advice to everyone who is watching this video.
Right. That's great. That's great, Chaitanya. So yeah. Uh that was pretty helpful for even me, right? When I was listening to you, that was like a very good advice. So thank you so much for that. I think with this, I think we've covered mostly everything, right? So thank you so much for taking out the time in your busy schedule to like come and talk to us and wanting to help all the people who are watching this video, right? So it was extremely insightful, extremely informative, and yeah, I think this is going to be very impactful to the people who are watching this as well, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bhavna, for getting me onboarded with this. I know there were a lot of rescheduling that I did because of the busy schedule,
No
but
issue.
thank you so much. I'm looking forward, in case if you feel there is any further session that is required, please feel free to reach out to me.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm there on LinkedIn, so you can connect me there if you have any concerns or questions, even to the viewers if they have any questions or they want to
Okay.
discuss something specific to product management.
Hmm.
So, yeah, thank you so much, Bhavna. It was really nice talking to you today.
Yeah, same. Likewise. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, yeah, that's it for today's episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys take a lot of information and insights from this video and use it in your daily life and, make a work towards a better life and a career, right? So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, click on the bell icon to get notifications, and do subscribe to our channel. We will also pin Chaitanya's LinkedIn profile in our description. We also have our Telegram channel description in the uh, description box. So please check that out and see you in the next episode. Thank you, guys.